Hello. My name is Clester, and I'm glad to see so many of you here. I was a little worried after I heard some of the rumors about performance on slows. Let's see. I saw many of you at awards night a couple weeks ago. I believe I said that we were almost finally through and that I looked forward to seeing you at graduation. Well, now we're really finally through and I'm seeing you at graduation. Funny how that works. I've got to admit, I struggled with this speech, partly due to lack of direction. It wasn't just that I didn't know what to write about or what to write, but that I didn't know what I was writing for in the first place. Actually, I still don't. I think I'm supposed to inspire you about the future or something? Perhaps we'll figure it out together by the end of this speech. Talking to some of you, I heard a wide variety of requests and sometimes demands regarding the content of my speech. Some people have asked that I make it funny. In that case, I've got this great knock-knock joke, but you have to start it. I need some audience participation here, so go ahead and say knock-knock. Who's there? Gotcha. Okay, all right. Perhaps me trying to make this speech funny isn't the greatest idea. Well, a bunch of people, having heard certain rumors that I'm at liberty neither to confirm nor deny, have asked that I rap. Well, all right. I'm your valedictorian, a battle historian. You know I'm right because my angles are Pythagorean. Oh, my rhymes are so... Actually, on the other hand, maybe not. But did you get the Pythagorean thing? Yeah. All right. Besides, we covered that pretty well last year from what I've heard. I've gotten stranger requests too, such as that I put my speech in terms of songs from Disney movies. Let's get down to business to get the heck out of here. Okay, maybe not. Finally, I've gotten a suggestion or two that I should treat this as a kind of sermon. Trouble is, I'm not a preacher, and you should probably thank God I don't try. Well, this is a predicament, isn't it? Here I am, standing up in a bunch of funny clothes and weighed down by all these what even are these? With no clear idea of why exactly I am up here using up our mutual time. Let's see. Well, it's fair to say we've been through a lot in the past 4 years. Quite frankly, I can barely remember my freshman year. Sorry, 9th grade teachers. But I bet I'm not the only one. Since then, what have we endured? Endless testing, endless assignments, endless grades and bells and walking and coming and going, and this year renovations on top of it all. But that's not true. It's not endless. Not for us. Surely that must be clear now since, well, it's ending. But some things shouldn't end. Some things should never end. And some things can't end unless we stop learning from our mistakes and instead take them up with renewed vigor. Some of these things are fairly obvious. Good study habits shouldn't end. Good friendship shouldn't either. Nor should self-discipline, striving to excel, taking initiatives, being involved, or any of those other things that may or may not have been a part of your high school experience. Maybe high school has helped kindle your passions, provided new opportunities to explore your interests and expand them. Maybe it hasn't. Either way, don't let them end. Occasionally, I've been asked how I accomplish my accomplishments. Some people believe that intelligence is a number, set in stone from birth, predetermined by fate or genetics or God, like height or eye color. I dispute this. Really, I dispute the idea of intelligence as something that can be so easily quantified, weighed, or measured. There's a famous quote frequently attributed to Albert Einstein along these lines. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. I appreciate this quote in that it illustrates that intelligence is not the same thing as any particular ability. But I disagree with this quote on an essential point. It implies that fish can't learn to climb trees. Okay, well, that part may be true enough. Okay, try it if you want, but anyway. But the quote relates to humans. And humans, as you may have noticed, aren't fish. can do anything. We weren't granted wings, yet we have learned to fly. We don't have the legs to sprint like a cheetah, yet we can travel faster than sound. We don't have any gills or fins, and yet we impudently probe the depths of the oceans. We can't jump higher than a few feet at best. I certainly can't. And yet, we have left our planet and jumped on the surface of the moon. Of the moon! How cool is that? That's really cool. Okay, sorry, I got excited. We could store the Library of Alexandria in the space of a fingernail. We humans can do anything we put the effort into doing. In calculus terms, the limit does not exist. And guess what? You're one of us. So don't put artificial limits on yourself, because that's something else you're capable of doing, and that's one of the most terrible acts you can commit. How dare you say no, or I don't think I can do that, or why bother? How dare you say I can't, when the world is full of glorious opportunities to say, I can. Let me tell you a story. I had a bad year in 6th grade. One of my best friends had moved away over the summer. I was starting to actually solidify a personality, and it wasn't a pretty one. I disliked and often hated school as an obligation which I was forced to fulfill. I got ISS. It wasn't the first time. I was in band. That was the only year I was ever in band. At the end of the year, I didn't win any awards. A certain other student won all the awards, and an observer watching me that year would have probably guessed that I would be an average honor student, maybe a little better than usual in math or science, but not much else, and that I would probably be a pretty average guy with a pretty cynical attitude for the rest of my life. But my dad said something to me. He pointed at the other student and asked me why I let her win all the awards. This wasn't entirely new. In the past, when a classmate got into the newspaper or won an award for something academic, he might point out that student's achievements repeatedly, intentionally, as though I were of less value for my lack of awards, as if I should want them. And eventually, I became angry at my dad, at those students, at the world, but I did want those awards. In 7th grade, I got the math award. In 8th grade, I got every academic award. You know the rest. My dad was right on one point. I wasn't putting forth my best effort back in 6th grade, and he provided crucial motivation, albeit in the form of competition, envy, even anger, that contributed to my academic success. In high school, however, I gradually realized a flaw in this method, the practice of comparing oneself to others. If you view life as a rat race, then you're doomed to be a rat, trapped in a zero-sum game where there can't exist a winner without a loser, where every man's victory is another man's loss, and every gain has a corresponding loss as well. I messed up. I'm sorry, guys. It's okay. I meant to say defeat earlier, but anyway. And where every smile comes at the price of a frown. But this isn't the way things were meant to be. In the words of the highly quotable Theodore Roosevelt, comparison is the thief of joy. There's only one valid point of comparison, one person we may compare ourselves to guiltlessly, without relying on arbitrary metrics like grades or scores, without exchanging our love for our fellow humans for a choice between envy and contempt. And that person is oneself. It's you. Live for yourself. No one else can live for you. Never stop improving, for stagnation is death. And never give up your ambitions, for those are your greatest possessions. Never stop running, for your goal should be something worth running towards. And finally, bear down and expect excellence. Thank you, and God bless you all.
So I've received a lot of commentary about what specifically this speech should be about. Some said it should be serious and inspirational. Many asked for shout-outs. No, Sabrina. And most had ideas that were generally fairly excellent about how to make this a fantastic speech. But eventually I came to realize that what I said had to come from me. This is the last, and in some cases first time, I'm going to be able to talk to a lot of y'all. And what I said, regardless of what I say, had to come from my brain and heart first. That being said, I think I'd like to talk to y'all about the future. Now, the future is something that's been drilled into us over and over again as this big ominous weight, waiting to crush us at some time in the future. Now, while to some extent there's some truth to that, but it's also a chance for some fantastic innovation. I mean, just in our lives, we've gone from playing games on floppy disk to iPhones, which, yeah. And I'm really looking forward to being able to tell my kids just how much better they had it than I did. I mean, just think, one day we're going to be able to look at our kids and tell them that if you had to find information for a report, you had to physically type words into this thing called Google. And if it didn't come up in the first 10 results, you gave up. Because nobody goes to the next page. Page 2 of Google could be a wonderful place, and I'm never going to find out because I'm never clicking that next button. And I need to be able to tell them that there was a time when the vending machines only carried low-calorie snacks and zero-calorie sodas because of a woman named Michelle. Nothing against her husband or the other humanitarian work she's done, but it got personal the day she took my Chex Mix. And for that, I can never forgive her. There's one more problem that I need to be solved before the time I have kids. This has plagued humanity for years and must not continue. I guarantee we have all been personally victimized by this, whether at school, work, or some of us even in the sanctity of our own homes. Poor souls. Yes, this ongoing tyranny must end once and for all. The revolution must begin, and if we all join together, victory may one day be ours. Not for ourselves, but for our children. I must one day be able to sit down with my kids and tell them of the horrible atrocities that were committed by the plague of single-ply toilet paper. Because, as I was told by Catherine Grambling, life is too short for one ply. But in all seriousness, we do have the ability to solve some real problems in the world. Our generation, just like every other generation, contains billions of people who are able to make a difference. Whether that's fighting against ongoing discrimination, working to improve problems of world hunger, ending war disputes that kill millions of soldiers and civilians every year, or battling for equality and the right for gay marriage, we have the ability and the responsibility to make a difference in the world. To quote the late, great Robin Williams, "The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse." What will your verse be?